Hello everybody, welcome to my channel Kanwal Sidhu. In today's lecture session related to economics, we will discuss the concept of economies of scale. In this lecture, I will cover the benefits of economies of scale and what are the limitations related to economies of scale. So for easy and precise lecture sessions, do subscribe my channel. Now let's first define the term economies of scale. Basically, it is a situation when the production cost per unit declines as the output increases. We can say that economies of scale is a relation between the total production and the cost advantages of the company. There can be two cases. If there is increase in production, then there is decline in average cost of per unit product. And when the production decreases, the average per unit cost of the product increases. So the graph shows the concept of economies of scale. When the company expands output from B1 to B2, the average cost falls from A1 to A2. So the company can sustain economies of scale up to the point B2. So this is the concept of economies of scale. Economies of scale can be external economies of scale and internal economies of scale. The external economies of scale depend upon the external factors and they are out of the control of the company. This can be result of the tax reductions or due to subsidies given by the government, improved transportation network or the facilities, and pool of highly skilled labor can also result in external economies of scale. Whereas the internal economies of scale can be controlled by the company. The company can achieve internal economies of scale by adoption of advanced technology, which is also referred to as the technical economies of scale. Another type of internal economies of scale is the purchasing or buying economies of scale, where the companies achieve this economies of scale by buying in bulk. Similarly, financial economies of scale also enable more favorable and low rates of borrowing. Now, let's also discuss how this concept of economies of scale is beneficial to the business or the company. The economies of scale reduces the cost per unit. The margins also improve. The company have more leftover funds that can be utilized for a higher growth. The business gains a competitive edge over its competitors. As a result, the business grows in size and external threats also reduce. The consumers are also benefited from this concept of economies of scale, as the lower cost of production lowers the per unit prices. The employees are also paid properly, and even there is profit sharing due to high margins. Thus, we can say that economies of scale leads to cost savings and higher profits, which improves the employee motivation levels and improves employee satisfaction. Now, let's also discuss one more concept related to economies of scale. This is known as the diseconomies of scale, which occurs when a business grows large and the cost per unit also increases. This concept is explained with the help of this graph. Any increase in output after the point D1 leads to rise in overall average cost. So this situation after D1 is known as the diseconomies of scale. So we can say that diseconomies of scale is basically the limitation of economies of scale. It mostly occurs when a business reaches certain size where the operating efficiency actually begins to decline. This can be due to lack of coordination between the top management and the large workforce. Lack of coordination is a result of poor communication between the top management and the workforce. There is also loss of control over the business due to large business operations, and it is difficult to maintain the productivity, which leads to fall in overall production. So we can say that diseconomies of scale can also result due to weak employee morale, which leads to reduced productivity. So basically, the diseconomies of scale are the limitations or the demerits of economies of scale.